Hello and welcome to my fourth video reviewing Black Clover. This video will cover the start of the elves' reincarnation up to the reveal of the Shadow Palace. Jumping right in, we have one of my favorite Mario Leona scenes, and a scene that solidifies her as being in my top 10 Black Clover characters. She was previously my second favorite character until she was sort of overshadowed by other people like Yami and Noct in my latest read through of the series. And the scene is, of course, Mario Leona versus Rhea and the four reincarnated elves. She exudes such raw brutality and tenacity in this fight. Despite being weakened as well as taking on multiple opponents at once, she still holds her own, and it's clear she would win against any of them in a one on one. I love her feral artistic depiction and crazed smile throughout this short fight. On top of this, Kalidos Brachium Purgatori was an impressive display of power. This scene is then followed up with a very smart and tactical scene from Asta and Zora. They quadruple a combination spell and send it right back at the elves in order to grab Mario Leona and get away. This scene does a great deal to show us Asta's care for his comrades with wanting to save Mario Leona, as well as just how smart he is by coming up with a legitimate plan in order to save her instead of just rushing in. He also displays amazing teamwork with Zora, and Zora complements his magic, and together they use a move from the very first volume of the series. Soon after this, we get one of my favorite panels in this arc, with Asta and Yuno activating their amped forms side by side, with each wing protruding in opposite directions on the page, and the difference in contrast between dark and light, the artistic contrast between these two in this panel is amazing. Asta and Yuno versus Licht is a captivating way to end the raid. They go up against someone who is presumably the main antagonist at this stage in the story, and it really shows how outclassed they were, even working together. On top of that, this really was just such a high end and exciting fight. I gotta give credit to the anime here. Some scenes I really loved were the choreography of Yuno and Licht above the pond, as well as the scene of Asta and Yuno's final attack against Licht. Asta and Yuno's entrance to Hage was a great scene. Some really standout panels and pages that I liked quite a lot in this small set of chapters was Sister Lily viewing them as the kids that she raised, and then that transitions to the panel of the two of them as magic knights. Then there's the panel of the kids hugging Asta and Yuno. That's a very heartwarming one. And I also really like this extra page that I believe was not in the official chapter, with Sister Lily smiling and thanking Asta and Yuno for saving them. The luck battle was a very fun one. And in an odd way, this fight reminds me of Veto versus Asta, Finral, and Vanessa. One aspect of this fight and a lot of Black Clover fights that I really enjoy is the teamwork. The choreography, teamwork, and strategy of these three, especially during the climax, was exceptionally well done. This is coupled with the scenes of Asta saving Luck and Magna and Luck's sentimental moment at the end. Both of these scenes add a nice emotional layer to both the elves as well as Luck. Now, I do have one minor criticism of this arc, and that is the pseudo face turn of Reyes, Voltos, and Sally. Most specifically, Reyes. I did somewhat enjoy his character prior to his death, and I think that if these characters had stayed dead, it would have worked better for their characters. However, even taking into However, even taking into account their revival, I think Reyes should have carried his hatred in a more tangible way. I just don't think the comedic scene worked here, especially for Reyes out of these three characters. Yami versus Charlotte is a fun battle that adds a nice touch to both characters. For Yami, we see a more serious side that's focused on defending people and taking more of a commander role, especially with Soul, who's not even a member of his brigade. We also see the adaptability and versatility of Yami's dark magic. In this fight, he uses it in close, mid, and somewhat long range, and that's pretty exciting. On Charlotte's end, we see, well, she uses magic in an entirely different way than she normally does, and I really like the close quarters combat here. And viewing the wide range of capability with Briar magic. I also feel like, in a roundabout way, this fight adds to the ever growing relationship between Yami and Charlotte. This is perhaps most evident when Yami mentions how Charlotte used the power of her curse to make herself stronger through sheer grit, as he smiles, as well as when he grins, saying that he's always had respect for her before he uses his Dark Cloak Dimensional Slash. Now, a very small scene that's not really important ever again is the return of Gyodre and Revchi. They were very minor antagonists, but I do like that they showed up again here and that they weren't forgotten about. Although I'm pretty sure they don't show up again until after this scene. The return of Fuegoleon is a fantastically done scene. I'll be honest, this is the best that Fuegoleon ever was. The panel of his return with the right arm made of fire just looks amazing. And then on the next page is a beautiful piece of artwork showing that Fuegoleon now has Salamander. In the next chapter, we get multiple incredible artistic panels of Fuegoleon using Salamander. His return was well worth the wait. However, from here on out, I really feel like Fuegoleon just underperforms for the rest of the story. And I hate to say it, it really is just all downhill regarding him from here on out. Now, from here forward, we have my favorite portion of the Elf Reincarnation arc, and that is the battle in the royal houses. This segment is a great way to cap off the arc before we enter the Shadow Palace and give a lot of characters some really nice moments before we get to the big stuff. My favorite scenes in this arc, well, my favorite scene, and probably all of the Elf Reincarnation saga, is the first time Noelle uses her Valkyrie armor. This scene encapsulates a lot of Noelle's character in a very meaningful and flashy way. She stands side by side with Nozel to protect her house, demonstrating that she's far above Nebra and Salid by this point. She backs up Nozel in a chaotic way, more akin to how her brigade fights as opposed to royals. And she even picks up where Nozel fails to perform. She finally shows her family just how much she's grown. However, it's cut short as the member of the Golden Dawn gets back up. I really like how, in this first third of this Royal House Silva battle, Nozel really outsmarts her opponent and uses her weaknesses to her advantage. Nozel also adapts very quickly to Noelle and demonstrates how intelligent, versatile, and powerful of a captain he is. The actual manifestation of Noelle's Valkyrie armor is a beautiful scene, both from a storytelling perspective, with Noelle wanting to protect her older siblings, as well as from an artistic perspective, with some absolutely incredible artwork from Tabata. It's wonderful to see Noelle dance elegantly across the battlefield with her chaotic magic. This spell is so powerful yet so fragile. I love the balance of opposing sides with this spell. Noelle really demonstrates her newfound capability as she overpowers the reincarnated elf and gives a speech that demonstrates her determination. And this really does give us a clear impact on how Asta has affected her life, even if she doesn't mention him. The final third was a rather surprising way to end the battle. I love Zora's trash talk to Nozel to motivate him, and actually, Zora's inclusion feels very out of place here, but I do like that quite a lot actually. We see that a peasant is able to hold his own in this battlefield full of elves and royals, and I feel like a large portion of this, and a large reason, well, pretty much the reason why they win, is because Zora actually outsmarts their enemy. The final panel really demonstrates Zora's plan, and I love that he's a big key player in ending this fight. The teamwork from Noelle, Nozel, and Zora was a joy to see, and this fight has some great moments for the three of them, and all three of them are some of my favorite Black Clover characters. The throne room battle is a fantastic follow up to the House of Silva battle. Seeing Yami and Jack work together was a real treat. They have somewhat similar fighting styles, and I really do like how they complement one another. The real star of the show, though, was Finral. This fight was very much a rematch battle from the Royal Knight selection. Finral's determination here was on full display, and Finral played a really important role with backing up Jack and Yami. Then he gets the spotlight at the end where he both gets to save Longris as well as gets to knock his lights out in a very fluid and fantastic panel. I would say on my first read through, I did like the throne room battle more, but on my second read through of Black Clover, I have much more of an appreciation for the House of Silva battle. And I haven't mentioned this up until now, but the fact that the Black Bull hideout transforms and looks like something out of Transformers or Power Rangers is just plain cool. I love it. I love seeing it every time on panel. And whenever Henry hits someone, it's comical. And I have a great deal of appreciation for this giant transforming hideout running around punching people. The introduction of the Shadow Palace is quite an amazing reveal. It adds a dark, ominous, and uneasy feeling, especially by comparison of how the elves talk about themselves. It reveals something almost too dark or sinister by comparison of the bright light that each of them is bathed in. Overall, I absolutely love this section of the story, and I'm very excited to talk about the Shadow Palace in the next video. The Elf Reincarnation is a phenomenal arc, and I think that without a doubt, the Elf Reincarnation saga is my favorite portion of Black Clover. This arc in the Shadow Palace specifically is my favorite portion of the Black Clover series, this set of volumes. And yeah, that's going to be all from me today. I'll see you in the next one. Bye, guys.